Premium unlocked. Rad TV, we're never gonna stop. We're gonna stop.
Good morning. Welcome. Is it X? Am I saying it right? XoCillian. Is it just like it's spelled out?
It's exactly like it's spelled out. The XoCillian.
The XoCillian. All right.
Yeah. The stage name is actually XoC, and XoCillian was something that I got. Like, there's a couple of songs that I wrote. I'm a musician before I was like an AI artist.
Hey man, I've done my research. We'll get there. Good morning.
Okay. That's what's up. But yeah, so it was XoC, and then a couple of songs. I was like, hey, you, the XoCillian, something says something, and then rhymed it with a million and a billion and something else or whatever. And I was like, I kind of like that. And then,
that's cool.
Yeah, when I started this, this Twitter X page up or whatever, I was like, I'm going to use that as the handle.
Awesome. Very cool. I see you joined the X. You came with this brand in 2024. That's pretty quick to have, the community that you have around your work. So, hey, everyone, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. This is our X space. This week, we've had two amazing spaces. First, we had Nem Perez and Sway Molina on Wednesday. And today we're joined by amazing artists that just released a short film called The Haitian Revolution Part 1, The Rise of Toussaint L'Ouverture. Did I say that correctly?
Well, you almost did.
Give it to us. Give it to us.
Toussaint L'Ouverture.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is an amazing short film that he's made. AI involved in this production process. It's 6.5 minutes long. And today we're going to learn all about that, his creative journey. My name is Cameron. I'm head of community at Rad TV. And we'll be taking questions later. So if anybody hears anything that they're interested in, stick around and we'll take questions later at the end of the space. And good morning, XoCillian. Thank you so much for joining us this Friday. I'm excited to speak with you. I've heard you. I've been in a lot of spaces with you over the last 6 months or so and heard you speak a lot. Love your energy, love your vibe, love the things you're creating. It is great to be connected with you, and I'm excited to talk about all things the Haitian Revolution and your creative journey.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for taking the time out, and thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying it. This is something that I felt like I wanted to do a while ago. Was something about this. I've heard this story since I was young. My mom is Haitian. I'm American, but my mom is Haitian. My dad's Mexican. So it's like, but I grew up being Haitian. My mom.
Well, let's take it back. Let's rock back to like tell us about your early days. Where are you from? And let's hear about your early childhood. And let's see how we get here, because I know this isn't a overnight decision. To make a piece like this, it has to be close to your heart. Nobody just picks this out of thin air. So would love to hear. Let's hear where you're from. Just a reminder, we always remind our guests, be mindful that you are being recorded. We are live to the world, so I know you're going by a stage name, and just remember, I know it gets real casual here, but we are live, and this is recorded and going to live, so don't dox yourself anything you're uncomfortable with.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Cool. So, go wherever you want, start, and great to be here with you. Excited to hear your story.
Thanks. So, it all started on no, I'm just kidding. But no, I grew up I was born in the U.S., grew up in Brooklyn, New York. My mom moved over to Brownsville, Brooklyn. It's a nice, famous neighborhood. Some people heard of it, some people have. I don't know. And the thing was, like I said, my mom's Haitian, and my real dad's Mexican. But my mom got remarried when I was young. I had a twin sister, and so my mom remarried when we were young, and like babies or whatever, and remarried a Haitian guy. So I grew up like in Haitian culture, but obviously American, because I lived here and stuff, and so
but you guys are really like in those little nooks and crannies of those communities. It gets real heavily culturally influenced. So like you're like really like they call things like Little Haiti in those areas. So like are you really immersed in Haitian culture where you're at that point?
No, that's the crazy thing.
Okay.
I grew up and it was mostly Black American. Yep. some Puerto Ricans, some, a couple of Dominicans here and there, but that was the neighborhood. So the funny thing was that, at times I would get teased, the Haitian creation, the Haitian mutation, the Haitian abomination, like a whole bunch of stuff like that. You know how kids are, or whatever, because they would hear, like, my grandma used to live with us. They would hear us talk, and so the kids would be like, "Yeah, vloo 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 vloo." It's not vloo vloo vloo, but my grandmother used to tell me, she's like, "Listen, you can speak two languages. Like they speak one. So why you let this bother you?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. I guess."
True.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
So that kind of stuff growing up, but and so my mom used to tell us the story, like she was, she was really proud of Haiti. She grew up there, went through a lot of stuff there before she came to the U.S. or what have you, back in the '60s, and so she went through, oh goodness, through dictatorships over there. Because Haiti was just left in quite the state after after the revolution was over and they freed themselves or whatever. It was just there's just a whole bunch of stuff that happened since then. The U.S. shunned the place. France surrounded the place with warships and was like, you guys have to pay us for taking away, our livelihood, because Haiti, Saint Domingue, as it was called at the time, was the richest colony of France. Like France was making more than 50% of its money from that colony, because that colony, once they, discovered it and figured it out, first place, that was one of the first places that Christopher Columbus landed, Hispaniola. So the Spanish had that island for a while, but then they abandoned it after a while. They didn't want to deal with it. They wanted to go conquer, Mexico, those areas, Central America. So they went down that way. Went away from Haiti. Then the French pirates came and started a colony on the western side of the whole island of Hispaniola, which they called it Saint Domingue, and they realized nice fertile soil here. It's set on like the whole Caribbean is on a fault zone, so it's pretty much like cracked Haiti in such a way that you had all these mountains and valleys, and all this rainwater would come down, and the temperature was perfectly tropical, and you could grow anything there. These guys discovered they could grow sugar, they could grow indigo, they could grow coffee. Oh my God. And this was the 1700s, the late 1700s, and they introduced sugar to the Europeans. The Europeans didn't have sugar before then, and it became, holy crap. Could you imagine sugar?
Yeah,
Your first time tasting sugar and saying,
crack.
"Whoa,
Yeah, it's
what?"
crack.
What?
I mean, like it's like everything. I mean, it's literally like every. It's in everything now. It's a staple in every culture. I mean, except maybe Far Eastern culture. Sugar's everywhere now.
Right. It's crazy. So it's like, it's crack. So, France,
Yeah.
it became the biggest thing for France. So, like I said, when France lost, when the Haitians rose up and France lost it, because they were brutalizing the slaves that they brought there. Like France had this thing, like, and in Haiti, of most places, and most of history will tell you this, like for some reason in Saint Domingue, France decided, like, you know what, like we truly gonna treat these people like animals, and like they would bring them over on boats or what have you, bring them straight out to fields, start to work, blah blah blah. You're gonna work till you drop dead, and most of these slaves dropped dead within a week or so, 2 weeks, because they weren't being fed either. You'd get some water and stuff, but you weren't really being fed. They would suck on a sugar cane that they would get, but they get caught doing that. You know what that means, So yeah, it was pretty brutal. So when it was over, yeah, these people rose up and they were like, "No, we cannot have this," and because of that horrible brutality, and then also at the time the French Revolution was happening in France, so that came over to the as information to to the people in to the rebels and stuff in Saint Domingue. They were like, "We can have our revolution too," so they planned it, they did it. And
Wow.
like I
So,
said, yeah,
have you always
sorry.
have you always been into this, or is this like? Did you do a deep dive in adulthood? Did you? Has this been?
In order to do this video, I had to do a really deep dive, and I learned things that I didn't even know, because my mom knew the history, but
Right,
she
right.
wasn't like like in super detail. She just told us the facts basically. But going into it super detailed and seeing how every other country involved was like had a hand in kind of holding the place down for as punishment, as let's take advantage of them, as this, like United States overran it in 1917, and the first thing they did was bring a ship in there, a nice one of the warships there, and first place they went to the bank and took out all the gold, like something like what was it, $500 million worth of gold, and then just took it right back to New York and then came back and occupied the place for 20 years. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're growing up, mom telling you these stories, stepdad. So his stepdad is dad. Grew up as dad then, I take
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, and stepdad was Haitian as well. Did I catch that
He was
correctly?
Haitian as well. Yeah,
Cool,
he was
cool.
Haitian as well. Yeah.
So you've got, you're immersed in Haitian household. Are these stories what's being told to you about like your culture and where your family's from? Is
Yeah.
this what yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. These are the stories we were here, and then you're growing up in, obviously, in American culture, and then you go to school, you're learning all of that stuff, and then also I'm right there in the midst of Brownsville, Brooklyn, so that's a whole another kind of culture. So,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
so it's interesting, but it's made me into this guy that you see before you now.
Right. So, I dove into everything you've done. I went to your SoundCloud. You've got some great music. You've been creating for a long time. I know this is a newer account. You've definitely been creating longer than this. There's no way you're making the music you are now if you have, you didn't start in August of 2013.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been going longer than 10 years. So like how long have you been creative? What was your first, dive into being an artist and give us a little bit about your creative background and, I would love to hear more about the music prior to to coming into AI.
Absolutely. That's an awesome question too. Thank you. Yeah, no, man, when I was young, I used to hear and me and my twin, my twin was good at it too. She would, we would listen to music and I would hear the individual, the little drum taps in the back, the way the horn would go off, you know what I mean? Just the guitar, the individual strums of the guitar. So I was always just grooving the music, and our house was always filled with music. I mean, my mom, Haiti's Caribbean, and Caribbean people dance. There's a lot of music, there's a lot of drums and stuff like that. So
yeah, she's probably just dancing, singing in the kitchen nonstop.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God.
I mean, radio, TV, it's not what it is today. So yeah, you probably nonstop.
Oh, absolutely. Especially back then, yeah. Remember, I'm in my 50s now, so this was back, 70s, 80s. I was a young kid,
sure,
or what have you, So, that's the thing. And so back then, me and my twin, we would hear music, or we would even jingles on commercials and stuff like that, and they would be saying something, and then we would come up with our own lyrics based on that beat. And so every time we'd hear the jingle, we'd have our own thing to go back and forth. And we made up so much silly songs. But at the time, I didn't realize, that was a calling for me. So, I kind of got into doing work at the time, straight out of high school. I got into the career that I been in, graphic design. I was working in this place as a messenger. They kind of turned around. They were like, "You seem like a smart young man. Would you like to learn desktop publishing? We just got these Mac computers," and this was in 1989. And we just got these Mac computers, one of the first Macs, with the little tiny screen or whatever, the little box Mac or what have you. And they had just gotten something called, I think it was Aldous PageMaker at the time. Was it PageMaker? Might have been called PageMaker. It wasn't Quark Express yet. Quark Express was another desktop publisher program. But before then, there were people doing, creating graphics, paste up mechanicals. They would, we would just be printing out these little blocks of type for them, but they would paste up on a board, these blocks of type, a picture here, a little quote over here, and this and that. And you would take a photo shoot of it, and that would be your mechanical. That would be your done. That would be your thing that you would, I guess, do copies from. It was a crazy industry. Anyway, I could, like I said, I can go off into a lot of different topics. But back to being creative.
So that was it. I mean, that was your first. That somebody came to you with a computer. And was like, "Do you want to learn desktop publishing?" And that seems like where you started your digital journey. What were you doing? You said you were in the mailroom up until that point.
Yeah, I was in the mailroom at that time. So, I had just got out of high school with summer, and I was like, maybe in the fall, I'll go to college, figure out what I want to do, what have you. But it ended up I got so into it during the summer, then September came, then I was like, okay, I'll wait till next year. And then next year came, and I was already knee deep. I was learning Photoshop. I was learning Corel Draw, a whole bunch of different graphics programs and learning that entire industry. I've watched the first color printers come into existence. Like before the color printers, Canon made the first one, a Canon laser copy, a 1000. Saw that happen. So I was always in that graphics industry. Then when somehow when I was younger, I had cut off I had landed on something on a big chunk of glass and cut off one of my fingers. Not completely off. It was kind of hanging. They reattached it and I lost the tendon. So I kept really bending the finger. I wanted to learn how to play a guitar sometime in my late 20s, right? And I'm like, and I had a friend, he had guitars. I was always hanging out with him. He was like, come by, we could jam at my house or whatever. He was trying to teach me how to play. I couldn't catch the chords. He was like, so why don't you try it on this little machine, this like a Casio keyboard, or it was a Korg keyboard. I don't remember what keyboard it was. And he was like, I'm not even using it. Take it. Took it home and learned the hell out of that thing and started making music from that point. And at that, I was like, oh man. And then I started looking into, okay, what else can I do? And then I started learning about digital audio workstations, DAWs. And I was like, wow, and that's the same thing. That's something that strikes me as the same way as what we're doing right now with AI is like, had they not had DAWs, because they didn't before then,
Right.
you had to go to a studio to make music.
Yeah, it's impossible to make music. Yeah, you couldn't do anything, really.
You couldn't do anything. So I don't care if you had musically minded, you weren't gonna go make a song.
Yep.
You just weren't.
Yep, absolutely.
Without there was one out of every maybe 10,000 people who could, or maybe one out of every 100,000.
Yeah, I mean, where I was from, I didn't know anybody. I mean, I went to school, I went to Full Sail for music, and I had to go. I didn't want to go to college for music, but I didn't know anyone. I didn't even know how to make. I was like, I knew that the only way to get a CD to play when I burned a song to Fruity Loops was that the sample rate had to be to 44.1, but I had no clue what that meant. I just knew that's the only way it would play in the car. And I was like, all I know is if you set it to 44.1, it plays in the car.
Plays in the car, right?
And I was like, I was making beats, but I didn't know anything about what I was doing, and nobody could show me. I had friends that were in the bands, but they didn't know anything about recording or whatever it was. So it's, up until you have these revolutions, you're like a product of your environment, and there's nothing to do. Like there's just no way to get those ideas out. So I totally relate to what you're saying. So that was, you had this creativity and now you had a way to get it out. You've got this tool and now you're like, okay, I can do things. So when did you put out your first music? When were you like, I'm going to record, I'm going to put something out? And tell us about that experience. Did you actually go to a studio? Was this a home recording? I'd love to hear what that was like.
This is all at home. Like I said, it started with that Casio keyboard. Then I started learning there's software out there. So and back. Oh well, you said this is all like like out in the public, but we had like whereas sites and stuff like that. So I was able to get a couple of pieces of software here and then. But then I paid for them later, of course, right? And
yeah, I stole all my early Fruity Loops too.
I mean, dude, it was all over the place. I could, I got so like I was just like, let me experiment with this. Let me experiment with this drum machine. Let me experiment with Fruity Loops. Let me experiment with oh my god, like I started with Sonar, like Cakewalk Sonar on a PC.
Yep, Cakewalk was my first too. Yep, and I had an outboard sound card that plugged into my crappy. I forget that it's like creative bit.
Creative, probably Sound Labs.
Yeah, exactly right. Yep.
Creative Sound Labs. Yep, I had one of those guys too. And then I found out, like people use Pro Tools in the studio, and Pro Tools is the way to do it. And I'm like, oh man. And Pro Tools was like just kind of out of reach at the time. So same. I stuck with my Sonar. Dude, I made like at least a good 800-900 songs in Sonar. Beats.
Wow.
Like seriously, like beats on top of beats. Like I always had like a thought in my head on a sound. Dude, I even like got so stupid with sound that I used to like bang on things and record it just to get a sound. And I would like scour like all sorts of websites like to get sound samples, to get a drum sample, to get this sample. Man, I got probably terabytes and terabytes of sound from the years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Are they well organized, or do you have them like put in
well
packs?
Organized by the date that I daggone found on that, and that's how I find it. It's not like I got a whole folder full of drums, a whole folder. Nope, I got a folder on this date, and then it's got this kind of sound samples. It's crazy. I might be ADHD. I'm probably ADHD. I'm
Aren't we
absolutely
all? We're all
ADHD.
we're
I'm
all
not
on
even gonna
every
say I'm not.
we're all on every spectrum. It's just where we are. So,
I'm not even gonna say I'm not. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, my stuff's like all over the place. I kind of know where it is, and I just number my stuff. Like so,
sure.
like if I send you a song of mine, it'll be like Sonar song number 902. You know what I mean, or something like that.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't get a name till I actually write something to it, like write, like a song to it. And that's the thing. That was another thing. I used to do poetry as a kid, and I used to and I used to win spelling bees too. So like words, like the English language. Oh my god, like I fancy myself a wordsmith. Like I like big words, and I did since I was a little kid. So like I would write like all of this stuff. And if you listen to my songs, it's just like, where's this guy coming up with the start from? I mean, why does he have to use that damn word? It's like because it exists. That's why. Because it exists. And it's funny. Papa Do said something yesterday about like that I pick songs that or I'll write about things that people traditionally wouldn't. And since I was little, I was doing that. Like writing about things that it just because it sounded good. And it was just like the thought was in my head. And I said, all right, I'm going to put these words together. It sounds musical. Fine. I'll sing it,
The first thing I listened to, so I went to your SoundCloud, and the first thing I played was Hot Doggin'.
Oh my God.
And I'm like 40 seconds in and laughing and turning it up. And as I'm like 2 minutes in, I'm like, this is incredible. And I mean, like, that's what so I immediately am like, all right, well, this dude's making music. Like, this is a good recording. This is actual production. How long has he been making music? How long has he been on X? And this, I was like, all right, well, he's been doing this for a while. And you're really having fun with it, making hot dog, and you love what you're doing. You're having a lot of fun, and you're like, putting together real productions with a bunch of different artists. Are these local artists? Are these from all over the world?
This is from all over the world. Like once I got into and putting stuff out, I remember my first stuff that I put out, and it kind of was like more like kind of like poetry slam, like kind of sing songy, and people were like, "Dude, that's not how you rap, man. Come on, that sing song's just not gonna fly." And people used to get on me, and I was like, okay, let me get better. And I just started like really focusing on how I write my lyrics, how I wanted my cadences to be, like how I wanted things to sound. And that's one of the things in Haitian culture, like, is that the when people talk in Creole, it's a sing song, like "Ma parle avec ou, sa, sa, ta, 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 ta," and it swings back and forth. So I'm used to listening to that in my, growing up. That's how, my parents talk to each other, or whatever. My grandmother would talk. And I'm like, so that's kind of like how I would attack my songs. But then after a while, I had to come up with my own flow, my own style. And it grew over time. I can give you a song like from like 15 years ago to a song that's like more recent. And you'd be like, oh, man, damn, you switched up your style since then, didn't you? I'm like, yeah.
So are you just recording nonstop? Like I'm scrolling through your SoundCloud. I mean, you have a ton of stuff that you've put out. How many songs do you think you've recorded?
I got about like almost 10 albums, and I got a whole album with just people with like collaborations with people all over the world. A dude in Australia, this guy in Britain, a guy from Sri Lanka, and like a guy from Indonesia that was rapping in Indonesian, and I'm like, it's great. Girls from Brazil who sang on some of my songs. I'm just like, it's nuts, and it's just kind of the same way that I'm kind of like operating here with the AI. It's like I want to meet people. I love creative people. I love what everyone's doing. I used to love when I was in the music scene. I used to, like hardcore. I was just like, yes, I love this song. Let's collaborate, please. Like, let's do something together. And we come up with things, and like bouncing ideas off of other people is amazing. Yeah, I got a million ideas, and I still got more, but like when you're talking to other people, it just makes it that much more amazing,
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you something, and I'm sorry to pry, but I always do. But I'll preface it with don't feel like you need to answer. You keep saying I had a twin, and if you would like to share anything about that, it seems like there might be. Did you lose your twin sister or something? If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But I
because that's my twin, and I'm going to talk about her. Yeah, thank you. And ironically, my mom used to tell us when we were younger, go and visit Haiti. Go and visit Haiti. It's really beautiful. It's kind of like messed up now, but it's going to one day it'll be better. And when it does, please go visit, blah, blah, blah. one day back in 2010, my twin calls me out of nowhere. Hey, and she has her own life. I have my own life. Like I'm already like living with like Matt. Not was I married at the time? No, this was after my marriage or whatever. No, this was another girl. And I'm living with my girl. We got our own place together. Blah blah blah. And my sister, my twin lives where she lives, and she called me. You wouldn't guess where I'm at. I don't know where you at. Tell me. Just guess. I can't guess. Karen, where you at? And then she goes, I mean, remember Mommy used to tell us, go to Haiti. And I said, you in Haiti? And she's like, hell, she's like, yep, I came down here, blah, blah, blah. It's so nice. It's beautiful. I've been down here since Saturday. And because she called me, it was like, I think it was Monday after that. So she got there Saturday and then Tuesday. And I had a good conversation with her. I told her enjoy herself, blah, blah, blah. Tuesday, I'm looking at the news, giant earthquake in Haiti, 2010. That, the big one that killed like 275,000 people.
man.
Yeah, yeah. And it was that. And I was like, you what? And man, woo, crazy. Crazy, crazy. That was 2010. And like, we had to go down there, retrieve the body, blah, da, 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 da.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that is insane story. And she was
I
only been
thank
there for
God
2
they found
days.
her body. And
Amen.
the people with her told me that when the earthquake happened, she didn't die. She got hurt. And then it's going to the hospital. The hospital collapsed. I'm like, fuck.
Man.
Yeah. So
All right, so that was 2010, and you lost your twin, and that was a pretty traumatic thing for you. Did it impact your life creatively? Did you start working with that in your creative life, or did it change your trajectory at all?
It did in its way, because like I don't know, like I almost feel like I absorbed a lot of her, because like I feel like because like I said, she was just as talented as I was. Like I couldn't even imagine in this day and age what she'd be doing. You know what I mean? But she was super talented. And another thing we used to compete about, me and her. When we were both young, we were like evaluated for Mensa or whatever, because we had high IQs, and I had a 149 and she had 160. And she used to fuck with me on it. I got a 160 IQ, stupid, calling me stupid.
Stupid. You're funny.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. But like I always think about that, and I say that, and I think about the, like the kind of things she would write, she would say, like she used to write too, and show me things like she used to write. She wanted to compete with poetry with me and songs at times. But she, what's bad is that she got to hear some of my music at the start, like when I first started, but then that happened. So she didn't get to hear all of the crap that I've done today, but I'm sure she's listening somewhere.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So when did you put out your first music? When did you, and how, what was your distribution process? Where did you put out music at this time? What year was it? And what was like, I'm putting it out, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I was I guess that first album was after that happened. So it was like 2012 or what have you. And I even had a song on there that I wrote in commemoration of her or what have you. So yeah,
and that was released as XoC in 2012.
Yeah. So those albums that you see on my SoundCloud, those are like the collection of albums over the years. So like in 2012 and 2004. So I released it. There was a group of people online. First we had a bulletin board that we used to go to, and the kind of music is called nerdcore. Like basically people making music about whatever topics. A lot of people making music about comic book heroes, about Pokemon, about like animes, about JRPGs or whatever. Like just topics. And that's the thing. It was just like, well, just make me. They just made music about anything, and a lot of it was rap. There was a lot of people that were kind of doing a lot of it was rap. Some of it was like I think it was called like shoegaze music or whatever. Like so a lot of people would do like video game music where they would like make beats based off of video game sounds or what have you. I'm sure you guys heard
Yeah,
that.
and
That
like
became
even
big
like
after a while,
Daystorm
yeah.
stuff, like they were making there was some times they were making Call of Duty songs that had million views, hip hop
Yeah,
song or
so
whatever. Yeah,
So yeah, those like there was like the nerdcore people. I mean, there's a lot of big people in nerdcore right now that are still in nerdcore doing their thing. I mean, there were big names that came out. They made a whole documentary about the whole thing of nerdcore, like with this guy, what's his name, MC Front a lot or whatever, because he was just like this, like really nerdy guy rapping about science and all this other goofy stuff, and he had this like professor kind of look about him. He would wear like this stethoscope and this like yeah, like that stethoscope thing on the doctors would wear on their head or whatever. It's just crazy, and but he made amazing music, just amazing music. This just was a lot of talented people, man. Like just doing all sorts of things, and that's and it gives you inspiration. It's the same way that I am here. It's just like I see
yep.
what people are doing, and I just get inspired.
Same. These tools just keep, they keep unlocking human potential. And that's what gets me excited about what's happening in these spaces. Whether it's the first thing that was really in my life was the music revolution, and then blockchain came along for me, and that was the next thing. And I was like, holy shit, like this is going to change everything. And for 5 or 6 years, I said that, and no, everybody's like, you're an idiot. And now here we are, and it's changed everything. It's like,
And look what you're doing now.
it's like the only conversation that happens. I mean, even my 90-year-old matriarch in my family is like, well, Bitcoin's doing good. And it's like, psh, it's so nice to hear you say that 13 years in, So like, it's really nice that people are starting to hear it, but it's really about these tools unlocking the potential of people, and not everybody sees it at once. So, you were you're early to the music, you're early to the publishing days and digital art online. Now you're finding AI. How did you kind of get into the AI? What was your first inkling into the AI space? Were you always interested in this? Was this a long time coming, or did you see a tool that was just like, what is that, and sparked interest?
Well, it worked like this for me. Like this was about last year around the same time that maybe a little bit before then that like that I discovered ChatGPT and what ChatGPT was all about. And I was like, oh wow. And I used ChatGPT to do like it was a tool that I said to myself as a kid, because that's another thing that I used to do as a kid was I was like a computer nerd. Like I like would build PCs. Like I was that guy that would build you the complete like super powered like tower, and you would play any game that came out on it. And I was that dude. You know what I mean? So I was always into technology. I'm always fixing things. So wait,
it
what
was
the
inevitable.
question?
I was asking just how you came across AI. So you're kind of just
Oh, yeah,
inevitable.
so
You're on the path regardless. You're messing with GPUs. You're putting together machines. So like this is eventually going to happen. When did it happen?
So the I had gotten a drone, and I would make these drone videos, and like that opened up a whole new world for me too, because I'm a
What kind
fascinated
of
with
drone?
nature. And like what do you call it, a mini 4 pro DJI.
Yep.
Beautiful freaking thing, like just amazing 4K, like just absolute gorgeous thing. And I'm fascinated in nature, science, all that other crap. So I would fly around all these things, and I would come home and try to make videos with them. So I would ask ChatGPT, because I have Adobe Premiere, I have the whole Adobe suite from working with Adobe or whatever. So I have a whole my own login, and I could download all of that software at home. And so I have Premiere and have all that, and I like Premiere, but it's just like it felt like too much. Like I didn't want to do all of the menus and all
It
this
is
stuff. I said,
so much. Jeez, there's a lot in there.
for real. And so I asked ChatGPT, give me some options, and somehow I ended up with CapCut, and CapCut had all of these AI things in there, and I was like, what the? You could do this, you could do that, and CapCut even had that. And I was like, wait a minute, and I started looking into it. Oh shit, you can make images. Oh, my videos. And that was back, like you could take the image and animate it. I was like, I can make a video for my song, for one of my songs. Because I was trying to use the drone footage to make a video for my song, right? And I released a couple of things with my drone footage and some of my music behind it. It's not the same though. And so and I started messing with Meta AI first and foremost because I also ChatGPT has that what is it, Dolly, right? So I would make images with Dolly, but you couldn't really animate them or whatever. But for whatever reason, Meta AI would animate them, and by pressing this button that says animate, and it would do something like where it kind of like squiggles or moves or does something. And so I was like, that's cool enough, and I put a video together doing that, and just I was like, you know what? Let me make a site and start posting my stuff. I actually did make the site before then, like this X site, like I guess back in August or whatever I made it, and I posted like my drone videos. But then I started posting AI videos, and then I don't know. I guess the algorithm started showing me people did AI, and I was like, oh, let me follow this person. Let me follow that, and then from there it just snowballed into where I am today with AI. Like just from that point forward, I just like wanted to keep making more videos. And I almost feel bad because I have this $1,000 drone, or well, it's $800 or whatever, sitting there that I didn't go outside for a while. Well, it was also this thing where you can't fly your drone because it's UFOs outside. And I was like,
The UAPs, the UAP attack of 3 months in 2024. It's crazy. That was great. So this is amazing, and it's really cool that you say CapCut. We have King Winston in the audience. What up, Winston? Hope you're well, my king. He actually was the last person I talked to that was like, CapCut. CapCut is great. CapCut is where it's at. And it's interesting that everybody has these tools that they gravitate to. And it almost seems like every creator has their own tool. There's different popular ones, but it's interesting how creators are gravitating towards tools that resonate with them in one way or another that may not to another. So CapCut called to you and said, I can do all these things. And what's the next tool that you use? What's the next one that's a game changer for you?
oh my god! Then, like I said, once I got out of that first video with Meta, I haven't used Meta AI since then. I found Helio Minimax, and I was messing with that thing hardcore. That thing was doing so much nice stuff for me, especially compared to what I was doing, this little silly animations in Meta or whatever. And I was like, and from there it was just like, okay, what's the next thing? Then people on the site on X would be like, well, I'm using this, and I was like, all right, let me go check this out.
Right.
And
It's
it
like,
soon went from
amazing.
and that's the thing. It's just like I know this addiction that I have to like technology. So I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna pay $10 here. Oh, this one's only $12 here, and then this one's only 20 here. And the next thing you know, you go home and it's just like, man, I'm paying almost $200 for fucking AI. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely. So, you're seeing that all these tools are coming out and you're getting excited. What interests me is that, you're kind of making short films now, and that's how I was introduced to your work, was through the short films. And up to this point, you hadn't mentioned anything about being interested in filmmaking. You were interested in imagery, you were interested in music. Had there always been the call to make pictures and make imagery that told stories, or was this a new opportunity and your creativity just saw an open door?
Well, like I said, it's something about being around other creatives that inspires the heck out of you. And I see Blacklight in the audience. I saw that movie, that full length movie that Blacklight put, and I was like, you know what? And then Afro Future would put out stuff, and then someone else would release something, and I'm like, you know what? This is the time to do my story. I can do it now properly. I can do it now properly, and I always wanted to tell that story. There's a point that I wanted to learn 3D animation, and I was trying to learn Blender, and Blender's got a learning curve on top of a learning curve. You don't just go into Blender and you're using it next week, and making things next week. You'll make something, but it's not going to be that cool. But with AI, it's just like all of that, putting the 3D project together, filming, get it. Could you imagine me trying to make that Haitian video where I would have to go out there and film, where I would have to go some island to get island footage, and I would get all of
Yep.
these actors to
Yep.
wear all of these clothes and da 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 da, and it's just like, dude. like you just handed me like a paintbrush and like a whole big painting set and said, "Go to work." And that's what they did. That's what they handed all of us, you know. And I know a lot of people out there still mad at it. And I've had arguments with another reason that I got into making that Haitian movie. There was a collaboration song that I did with these two gentlemen on the Nerdcore site, and it was called Diaspora. The song is called Diaspora, and then one of the guys was a not a Sephardic Jew. There was a specific kind of Jew from Portland, right? That had a whole diaspora that lived in Portland, and it grew, and they were kind of isolated from everyone else. But he told his story. The kid from Sri Lanka told his story about how things were in Sri Lanka for him, and then I used the whole Haitian Revolution as my part of the song. So I went to them because I was like, I'm making videos. I was like, I'd love to make a video for this song. This would be amazing. I would get all the information about both of their stories, not just the lyrics, but background and da da da. So I reached out to them, and they kind of laid into me about, like, we noticed you've been doing AI lately, and we haven't really remarked upon it, but now that you're asking, I just gotta let you know I'm not really behind this AI stuff. You could be doing this another way, and kind of like kind of disappointed in a sense. And I was like, okay, I really respect your opinion. I'm not arguing with you about it. So I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna use your song, but that also gave me the inspiration. Then I make my entire thing by myself. Then at that point, I don't have to worry about that. Make the entire thing about the Haitian Revolution. And then I remembered the story, and I was like, and then that's when I said, all right, let me do this, and started the research. And that's when I had posted. I said, "Oh, guys, I'm working on something big.
Boom.
I'm just trying to join you guys. That out there getting awards and all this stuff. And that's when it started.
Well, this is it. Amazing. Okay, so I'm so excited to get into this part of the story. And anybody who's just tuning in, we are talking to XoC, the XoCillian, amazing creator. He's a longtime digital artist, rapper, producer, musician, and now has ventured into AI video production and has made an amazing 6.5-minute film on the Haitian Revolution. And I'm not going to try to pronounce the name again. It's the Haitian Revolution Part 1, The Rise of the XoCillian.
Toussaint Louverture.
Thank you. And if you are not familiar, you can watch it ad-free in one click. It's the first pinned post here on X in this space. You can go to Rad TV, watch it without an account. If you want to watch it on your TV, search for Rad TV on your favorite device and watch it this evening with your family sitting on the couch. It is a great piece. So very excited to get into this. You decided to make this story. You dove into doing your research. Let's just start right there. Where do you start? You know what you want to do. You know the story you want to tell. You go into Wikipedia first. Where are you going? Are you taking notes? Give us step one.
Oh my God! Did I ever take notes? I have so much notes, like just like things that I've learned. Like I've watched people's videos. Like, and the thing is, it's not that it's hard to find. A lot of people spoke about it, but the thing was, because of just the whole outcome of it, a lot of it was buried, so you don't hear it as the story that it really is. It changed the face of North America, basically, because when Napoleon lost, remember, they fought against Napoleon, the famous Napoleon, and drove him out. They drove the British out. They drove the Spanish out, because there were still British who, like, Napoleon was like recruiting everyone. He was like, listen, I'll let you in on this whole sugar thing if you come help me with these damn slaves that are running wild. I can't get my sugar back on track because they're fighting. The French came, the Spanish came, got driven out. The French was like, no, 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 we don't want nothing to do with these savages. Bye. And they left. I'm not the French, I'm sorry, the British. They were like, nope, nope, nope. They came, they saw what was going on, they were like, we out. Can't do this. But so it's crazy. So they were, damn, what was the point I was trying to make? I always do that to myself.
No, it's okay. You're telling about how you started your journey and how you started how you started going down the research of the story, what notes you were taking. And so you're getting into, the details of how the story happened and where you started doing your research.
Yeah. So like I said, I just discovered so much information about it, like so much different things that happen, how how it all led to what's going on today there. Like Haiti right now, it's just like the most impoverished nation in the Western Hemisphere. or what have you. And it's right now there's really no president. There's no form of government. There's a like a warlord that runs the place kind of right now. And they've always had like dictators. It's always been this. It's always been that. So in part two, I'm going to touch on a lot of what, because part one only ends up where they take Toussaint and send him to, they tricked him. And well, he also had people that betrayed him on his end. So he got tricked into, they took him to France, left him to die, starvation in a cold cell, what have you. And give me a second, let me just take a drink of water.
Oh, no rush at all, King. Yeah. We got plenty of time and no need to feel rushed or like you got to keep talking. Very casual. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm loving this. So are you, did you make a timeline? Did you start at like, I'm going to tell this section of time and go and do this? And or yes, are you having an entrance and exit and you're like, all right, here's the beginning and the end. I'm just doing this section, whatever I can cover, I cover. How did you choose that segment and just be like, all right, I'm going to do this part one?
Yeah, so this was my process. So I gathered all of this information, and and I, like I said,
how long was your research process, if you don't mind?
My research, I spent a good day just going through stuff, taking notes, like wherever I saw stuff, copy paste this, copy paste that. You know what I mean? Oh wow, that's interesting information. Put that, and then kind of made a timeline of it. I was like, okay, this happened in this date. That's why you see dates all on throughout the video. I put the specific dates.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Because it happened this happened this time, blah blah blah. So yeah, so that's how. And then once I had gathered all my notes or whatever, and ChatGPT is my partner. I was like, here, I need you to take this information. We're gonna lay out our outline, and this is what I'm doing. And it's like, oh wow, okay, yeah, let's get it together or whatever. And then it helped me pretty much structure it into into a format that I can tell the story. But I would go back and forth, and I was like, I don't like this part right here. Maybe take this, maybe make this happen. Let's do this, let's do that. And it's to me, that's my process. I go back and forth because, like, to me, it's just like kind of telling my idea to myself in a sense, and then watching it come back around and triggering another thought and another thought and another thought till I finally put it together in a sense of like
making music. Yeah, you're putting together the puzzle. Yeah, sure, I get it.
That's exactly what it is. And that's another thing that I discovered. It's just like I was making music videos before, and then my random videos about this, about nature, about this, and now you go through my stuff, and I just got a lot of random videos. I made that one about the cars the other day or what have you. And so with this one, I realized I was like, wait a minute, this is like there's narration here. I didn't do that before. I did it in a couple of videos, but not to this degree. I didn't like that person's voice the first time because that was CapCut narration. Then I had to go change it. That's when I went online. I said, hey, you guys know of anything good? A lot of people told me 11 Labs. All right, so let me go on 11 Labs. Got it. Another $8 a month or whatever it is. It's just more things to buy, right? So I was like, all right, let me get 11 Labs. And and I picked one of the voices. I did it. I did the entire narration, and I was like, I can't stand this voice either. And then I had 11 Labs create a voice for me, and I was kind of okay. I tweaked it a bit, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick with this one. This guy's going to be good. But then I realized another thing. You have to add music. I'm not even just music the way I have music, but soundtracks like drama music, like. Basically, like you have to score the damn
thing. Score to it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Dude, I was going through my songs. All right, which one of these songs will work? And then fixing them, like bringing them into Logic. Let me fix this up. Let me add this. Let me put some horn. Let me put some orchestra here. Let me do this, and that's what's going on. And then the next thing. All the sounds, the sound of the fire, the sound of that rooster, all of those things had to be put in. But one of the things that I would do in my songs, I'd have a lot of skits in my songs. Whenever I'd make music, I always thought I was funny, so I would like make skits in my songs, like something goofy's happening, and then I would find sound effects, and I've got whole folders filled with like sound effects, the sound of a horn, the sound of this, the sound of that, baby, the sound of a bird, blah blah blah. So I was like, but I used to do this I do this in music, so. It just came naturally to me. So I'm watching a video. And I'm like, okay, right here, I need a fire sound. Right here, I need the sound of that guy hitting the thing, and it was fun. It's just a lot of fun. That whole creative process, like putting it together and then watching it come out. Like over and like, because while you're making these videos, you're hitting play over and over again and watching how something squeezes by, and oh shit, I gotta squeeze that, I gotta fix this, I gotta cut this, I gotta do. But eventually, like by the time it turned out and I saw what I had, I was like, yeah. Because even I stayed interested. Like I watched it 10, 15 fucking times, and I could still watch to the end and still be like,
yeah,
you know what? This kept my interest.
Yeah, it kept my interest all the way through. If you guys haven't watched it yet, definitely go check out the Haitian Revolution Part 1 on Rad TV. It's a great piece. So are you, as you're going, it seems like you're telling me you're building this as you go. So you're literally just like leaving your session, getting your couple assets, coming back, tweaking in your actual session, your production session. You're doing it all live. You're not like getting the assets and then banging. You're on the fuck it, we're live tour.
We're live. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly how it is. Like because I like I said, it's the ADHD or whatever the hell it is with my brain. It's just like, no, I want this. I want no, this. Oh shit, this. I see this. No. You see how that happened just now? No, fix this.
Great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what are you editing in? You're in CapCut still?
I'm in CapCut doing the edits, and there's so much. Like I said, there's so much effects in CapCut. There's so much this and that you don't really have to go out that much. I have After Effects. I can go in After Effects and do a lot of stuff, but I'm like, yeah, it's all here in CapCut. Get out of here, So you got where are you starting your process? Where are you generating your images, and then where do you take them after that? What are your go-to tools in this whole process, in your whole workflow? Oh man, for the perfect images, and I have to go to Kling AI, man. Like 1.6 is just like, we'll listen to
That's everyone's answer right now is Kling. I mean, Tasha just said that. She's Kling. That was her response.
And I just got recently, like a couple of weeks ago, a CPP from Pika, and and I used a lot of Pika stuff in there too, but a lot of Pika stuff I also had to throw away, because it's just like, I don't like that because it's too jittery, it's too this and that. I don't want that to distract from this story. I want people to look, and the images look crispy, they look clear. There was a couple of distortions here and there, but I was able to, where you weren't paying attention to that. You didn't even see that, If you go look, you'll be like, I see that, but... So
Kling's the one-stop shop, generation, everything right there, and then take those pieces out. If you need another one, back to Kling.
Like I said, though, I got some stuff from Pika. Stuff from Minimax, like that worked for me. Like, you get pieces from wherever you get, and then sometimes, like I'll do like a 10-second generation. Like that's my thing, because if I give it 10 seconds, I'm gonna get something. I'm gonna get at least a good 4 or 5 seconds that I could clip out of there, like here at the bottom or here at the front or wherever. I already know that. Like, so if I have the option for the 10-second ones, I'll do the 10-second ones. If I don't really need the 10-second ones, I'll do the 5-second ones. But it's always it's chop shop. All my videos to me are chop shop. It's the same thing when I'm doing music. I'm chopping it up. It's a timeline. It works the same exact way. So that's why was so easy to just start doing it,
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole learning curve.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how much, and it seems like you're really good at this, how much editing goes into making these things, because now you can get the ball of clay, you can get the block of marble. It's really about taking the stuff out that isn't shiny and beautiful, right? Is that what it is?
That's exactly what it is. It's like, yeah, exactly. You got a block of marble, and somehow they carved it down to be Michelangelo's David, right?
Right.
So,
and you're just sifting through, seeing what you need for that block and carving out things. So, what tools are you? And you don't feel free to tell me, it's none of my damn business. That's okay too. What tools are you paying for and you love, and what tools are you CPP only? If you don't mind sharing that.
Pika's the only one that I'm CPP only. Okay. The rest of those guys I'm paying for. So Kling actually jacked it up to their like little $80.
Yeah, that's no joke. I was on that.
I need the credits because I go to them too much.
Yeah.
I also have Kriya, which gives me options of Kling, which gives me a Kling. I also have what's the other one? Free Pick that gives me Kling, but Free Pick also gives me that new the Google one, Google VO. And I tried a couple of them in the video, but I didn't use them because they came out, but they just didn't look or work the same way as the other ones. I was just like, okay, I guess I wasted my credits on those two. But
your shots look really similar. I mean, they're really consistent across the board. And you're saying that you're mixing a bunch of different tools. Are you finding that is working? You are able to find consistency just loading things from different tools, and Or is it?
One, I color grade. I color grade afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we know. Okay,
Yeah, I have to color grade
there's the
afterwards.
answer, ladies and gentlemen. So now are you doing that process as you
I'm
go
doing
as
that
well?
process too, yeah, because I learned color grading when I was doing like the whole
Wow.
thing with my drone videos. Because my drone videos, they absolutely need to be color graded because I'm taking them in raw format from the drone. You know what I mean? So it's getting all that HDR information, but I got to color grade it to pull it out on the drone. So I learned how to do that messing with the drone. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like all of these disparate like looking things. I can bring them back to they all look together.
That's
Remember,
a
I'm
skill
also in
set.
Photoshop and I work in color for a living.
That's a skill set or a tool that I think would really help creators, would be something that could color correct or color grade in a way that maybe you.
Well, you have a lot of options in CapCut.
Okay. All right. So are you feeling like that CapCut's solving the problem of tools looking different and that you can just pull in a CapCut and that you're good to go then? Is that?
You can go into CapCut, and I mean, the thing is, I'm also all of my generations are image to video. I make the image first, and I pick. Then I'll be in Korea, and I use Flux, and give me four copies, another four copies, and I'm like, I don't like this one, or this one I like it. Give me a variation of that. Vary that one, vary this one, and then I'll look and I say, okay, I like this one. Upres that guy. I take it, I upres it. Then once I'm upres, then
What are
that's
you
when
up-resing in?
I'll upres it. And Korea has an upreser.
Okay.
Korea has that beautiful upreser built in. I use that guy. Comes out nice and sharp. Like it gives you that little slider back and forth so you can see, the difference between before and after and stuff. And it just adds all of this detail, especially like in these outdoor scenes, because it'll generate and it's just like you'll see the trees in the background, it's trees, but you don't see the detail. I'm sorry, you don't see the detail, but then as soon as the upreser does it, you see all the detail in the trees, you see individual branches, you see I was like, oh man,
It's crazy. The slider is crazy.
oh my god, there was a ship, there's an image of a ship somewhere near the end of that video that comes like when France is sending their brutal general, the guy that's dip people in sugar or whatever and boiling sugar or whatever, that guy. When the ship is coming, if you see that image in the video, that ship is so sharp and clear. Like after it was upresed, I was like, I could see like every individual rope in that damn ship. And Kling was the one that animated it so smoothly that it's like just coming and you see the waves cracking. And I was the one that added the sounds, like as that ship is coming, like you hear the waves like crashing or whatever, and then the creaking of the wood I had to add, and I found sound effects from like people like just like like an old cupboard going. So I added that. Like if you listen, you'll be like, wait,
that's great.
It sounds like a ship, but it's just bullshit sounds that you put together, and it's like it just fools you because that's what most of everything we see in here is just like the universe fooling us,
Sure.
the eyes fooling us,
Absolutely. So the ship is at 531. And it is.
You found it.
And it is beautiful. It is. I mean, it's really the lighting for the sky, the light hitting off the sails. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's really, really good. I mean,
dude,
yeah,
when I
the
saw
way the
that,
light.
I was just like, Clint, you really did this? This looks like just absolute brilliance. Like, like, can you imagine this in a movie? Like in a movie, how they would have to do this?
I mean,
they have to build a set, or they do it a CGI or whatever.
If
right?
you showed me this and said this is just a scene, just a still image, and said this is a shot from an upcoming say any movie you want, I'd be like, yeah, okay, next. I wouldn't even think. I would never be like, no, I wouldn't think anything of it. And if that's where I am, then my mom has no idea. And then AI, it's over. It's done.
It's over.
It's done.
Less than a year from now. Like, come on, these tools, like almost every couple of weeks, they got an upgrade. Oh, we added this. Oh, we got this better. Look, we're on version 1. This,
So what was your total time into this, if you don't mind sharing that? How from I'm making this, I made the decision, day one, you're doing your notes until I'm ready to present it. And just say the day that you showed it to me, it wasn't all the way done, but it was close. How long was that process for you?
That was about a good week and a half, almost 2 weeks, like maybe a week. Yeah, maybe a week and
full days. You're working 8-hour days, banging all the time on this as much as you can.
The thing. I took the day off today, but like I would use, because I'm where I sit at my job or whatever, I'm just not isolated, but like no one's around me or whatever. I let shit generate on my computer at work. I'm like, okay,
Right.
let
Yeah.
this happen, let that happen, you know?
Yeah, very
And
cool.
then, I have access. And then when I get home, I just download them, because
Yep.
it's sitting there it's not like it's downloaded onto your computer. Then,
Yeah, it's
then
really
again, you
brain
download it
work.
whenever you want to.
Yeah,
you know?
you just need to be thinking about the proper things. You can type in a little. It's just like sending a text. So if you can just send the text and get it going, the work's done. Amen.
The work's done. It's doing it in the background while I do my regular work. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. That's
It's
great.
the greatest fucking thing, bro. Because like for me to make a song, I actually have to sit there and be like actually physically involved in it. This one, I have to wait.
Yeah. Man, I love your energy so much, XoC. You are really fun to talk to.
Thank you.
Anybody just tuning in, we're an hour into this conversation with the XoCillian, amazing creator, musician, artist. You can visit his website is arco.so the XoCillian. And all of his links are there. Top link to Rad to go check out his channel. His music's there.
It's also on my it's
all
right
socials.
at the top of my profile too.
Yep, and it's pinned, so we have him tagged everywhere. Just you can go follow the XoCillian. All right, so you're taking a couple weeks to make this piece. I'll tell you, when you reached out and you said, "Hey, will you check this out and see if this is worth featuring?" And I got back to you. I think maybe that same day, maybe the next morning.
Right.
But I was like, this is great. We would love to feature it. And, you're like, I hope it's well received. What has your reception been like? And how have you felt?
It's been pretty good. I got a lot of retweets on it. I've got a lot like comments where I've seen people talk about it and other like on I put it on other sites and I got comments. I put it on Reddit in a Haitian subreddit, and I was just the people reached out to me there like, oh, like this is amazing. No one's ever done this. Like I haven't seen something like this. This is great. Like so. Yeah, like if it even sparks one person to ask about this story, like certain America.
I mean, we're right here. We're here talking about it now, So I mean, this is
which is amazing. And I got people sitting here listening to me talk about this and stuff, and people have interest, and it's great. Like something like the when this happened, like I was trying to say earlier, when this happened, Napoleon was like, I give up on the Americas, and he fled. He sold the Louisiana Purchase was sold to the United States by Napoleon. So when he got his ass handed to him, he was like, you know what? I'm out of this area. Screw that. I'm going back to France. I got my areas, other places. I got other places that that colonies everywhere. So France to this day still has colonies everywhere in the world. And so like most people would know that. Like you ask someone about the Louisiana Purchase. When I read about the Louisiana, or when I studied the Louisiana Purchase in school, they didn't tell you much about like the Haitian Revolution. They didn't add that part that Napoleon sold that because he got his ass handed to him. They didn't tell you that. They just say, oh, we made a deal with Napoleon and he gave it to us for a cheap price.
Right.
And the Louisiana, it wasn't just Louisiana. It was a whole swath of the United States going up from Louisiana. This
is all of our history, though. This is
right.
This is we were talking with Tasha Caulfield, and she's talking about her Bruce Lee story, the story of Bruce Lee that she made, which is incredible. If anybody hasn't watched that,
I listened to that one. That was good.
It was a great show, and she's talking about how, and she's in traditional Hollywood, and she's talking about how the story of Bruce Lee really can't be told. And it's because it can't be told because of cultural differences, because of our relationship with the East, and they're tied. Like Sony's one of the largest movie producers. They're a Japanese-based company, and like you think you're just gonna like say whatever you want about Asian culture and do whatever you want. No, you're absolutely not, and you're not going to step on these toes if you are really part of this business, because the world is a small place, and it's really interesting what stories we get and what stories we don't get, and what is safe for Hollywood to do, and what is the right story to tell for historical purposes to push whatever agenda, as opposed to, hey, now I can do whatever I want, and now you get to bring what I think Blacklight calls it this regularly. I'm sure maybe he didn't coin it. I don't know, but impossible media. Now instead of having to have weeks of months of casting, and you're putting up casting calls and you're bringing people in and you have locations, and Winston doing the same thing in the audience, you're able to do this yourself. You're able to write this story. You're able to produce these images. And then I'm looking at this image at 5 minutes and 31 seconds. I'm like, this is as good as anything I've ever seen in any CGI ever movie. It's perfect. And you get to tell these stories. How do you feel as, a half Haitian man that gets to tell this story that is almost impossible media, and this story would not get told because there's no incentive to tell this story or to push this narrative because it's not the divisive thing that gets the views, or it's not a political agenda? What does it feel like to get that story out and to be able to release that into the world and it be really close to your heart and your family?
It feels good. Like I said, that because of the reception, like I even at some point, of course, I felt like, a certain way because, we all heard the stories back in past summer.
Like I told you, I'm from Springfield. Yeah. So it was all over.
You knew what was happening. And then you yourself who lived in Springfield knew that wasn't the case, But, these stories get pushed and then people have opinions. And, like I said, I've heard things about Haitians brought AIDS to the world. Haitians did this, Haitians did that. But it's just like, but we also have a beautiful history. Have you ever come to me and asked me about that history? Have you said, wait, Haitians were the only slave revolution that succeeded since in modern times? Like there was one way back in the BC era, but not in modern times. Yeah, in the past, like couple of thousand years, yeah, it was the only successful slave revolution. Haiti, like I said, that whole thing changed the face of North America. Like not it scared the United States in a sense that United States did not want anything to do with them for 80 years. Like did not recognize it, did not anything. France had to seal them off. Other countries were like, what does this mean for our slaves if they hear about this? Blah blah blah. And slaves would hear about this. There were like little uprisings in the United States that happened based on them hearing what happened. They were like, we can organize too. Because it was considered. It was the French really believed. Like they honestly said to themselves, they said these people are inferior to us. They're not. Man, they have no capacity to learn. They have no capacity for things. They have a rudimentary language that they speak to one another, and they have simple, beliefs and things like that. So they were considered like they really were believed to be animals. And then when the French saw, wow, they organize. They actually they are militarily minded. Like someone like Toussaint Louverture, like militarily did what he did. He didn't do it like just like some savage in the street.
He said he studied everyone, studied everything they were doing, and I mean, like Napoleon, which picked armies apart totally.
And that was the thing. And Saint Domingue was so rich that there was different cultures in Saint Domingue. And one of the things, the French came and there wasn't much women. There was a big 9 out of 9 out of 10 were men, and then 1 was a woman. So then what did that mean? That mean guess where they were? Guess who they? They were having sex with some of the slaves. Guess what came out of that? Babies. Those babies then got different. There was a whole branch of people who were mixed, who were mulattoes in Haitian culture. And this is something I grew up knowing about, was that there's 15 different delineations based on what color you are because there was so much mixing. And remember, there was Taino Indians who were in Haiti before then. The whole Caribbean was almost Taino and Arawak Indians or what have you, natives in the Caribbean before, the Europeans came and they, pretty much decimated them, but, there was still some left. So, you'd have the Frenchmen still mixing with the slaves, still mixing with some of the Indian people. And then those people would mix with other people. So they had delineations of what color you are. If you were black, you were considered nègre noir. It was called nègre noir, right? If you were like midway, you considered mulat. If you were Carib, there's so many colors. Like, and it's funny, like, because my stepfather he was kind of a mean dude, and I was lighter than him, so he would have this name that he would call us, like, because I'm half Mexican or whatever. I have the straight, the curlier hair, not necessarily the kinkier hair or whatever, and the lighter skin or whatever. So I'd have to hear it on that end, and it's just it's bizarre, like so. it wasn't just black slaves and white masters. Another thing that happened, Poland was pulled into it, got involved, came all the way to Haiti and said, wait a minute, these people inspire me, switch sides and help the Haitians defeat France.
Wow.
And when Haiti was independent, and you'll learn about this in the second part of the video, the guy who took over after Toussaint, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who I'm making the next thing about, he was brutal. He wiped out at every French that was still left there, every Frenchman who came. Obviously they came, they settled. They had generations that lived there because they were there for a while. He either slaughtered them or drove them out. Like, you got to get out. But he let the Polish stay. He let some Germans stay because they helped. And they were like honorary Haitians at the time. But he was brutal. This Allens was brutal. But based on what the Haitians did, based on what the French did to them, they didn't see any reason not to be. They were like, you want to be like animals towards us, we can be like animals towards you too. And like there's famous pictures of like French people getting heads cut off and stuff like that by the like once the Haitians took over the island or whatever, and Napoleon gave them their independence and said we're out of here or whatever. So there's this whole fleet, there's this whole like they all like all the Europeans had to get out, like leave. So that happened, and then they were shunned, and there was the blockade and all that other stuff. So there's so much history to it. There's so much nuance to it, and even like that little 6-minute video doesn't tell all of the nuance. There's just so much other nuance to it,
Amen. Well, you got more time and more stories to tell. So did you get to go to Haiti for your tragic event, or have you not been?
I've not been, no. Like a week, there was other family members who went and did that. I couldn't do it at the time. That was my twin, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was, I could, obviously for the funeral, of course, but, and I couldn't, I couldn't go pick up the body. I was in a pretty bad state at the time.
I bet it was tough. So that brings up part 2. When can we expect part 2? Are you already in the process of that?
I'm already in the process, and I believe before the end of this month I should be able to release it. I'll keep you guys posted, but obviously I got a lot of shoes. I got some big shoes to fill from the first one, and I want to make sure that this one is take my time and do it right. But I took the time with the first one, and I felt like I did it right.
It was great. Yeah, I think it was really great. And something I really love right now is Winston harped on this in his podcast. He wants 90%. He wants it to be 90% and have the speed. He'd rather it be close and get the story out and get these tools out, because these tools are changing so fast. There's no reason to try to make them be perfect today. Just keep rocking, get your flow down, and in short time, and he didn't say this, I'm adding this in. Who knows if we're not able to just go back in like 3 months and be like, hey, fix this one part. And it's like, yeah, I'll fix it. And it's just like makes it perfect. Of like, I just filled in that one part for you. And it's like, finally, that's fixed. And
we're going to be able to do like a video where we're like, I didn't like what happened here, fix this. Yeah.
Or like tell this, even upgrade this story. Like use my story, but upgrade the story and add this part. And like, I'm sure all those tools are, if we can dream it, it's coming, it's literally it now. So very exciting. And I want to get into this, and thank you so much for sharing your story there. And it's, I know it's personal, and there's some tragedy there. And I really appreciate you being an open book with us, King. Very cool to hear.
I appreciate you having me. And then, we all have a story, man. We all,
Amen.
Where's your story going to be after you're gone? Like, how many people are going to remember you 100 years from now? At least live now while you're alive, and make the people that you're around while you're alive, have them know about you, share. Amen. Like, you're dying and you're gone. No one knew about you,
Yep. It's just such a flash here. And, I think this is what a time to be alive, everyone. This is amazing. We're on X, talking to people all around the world. We have these tools that like open every door for us. You can make a song about anything in like 5 seconds, and it's just like you have a new song. So let's talk about these amazing tools a little bit. It seems like you're really pumped right now about, where are you generating your images at? You're generating them in Korea, maybe?
In Korea, I'm using Flux or whatever. I use that Flux Pro that they have in there. I was doing a lot with Midjourney before, but I find myself like just kind of like starting with Korea, and that gives me an image that I want.
Sure.
Like with Midjourney, it's I was doing a lot of stuff with S3. So I got a few videos out that like you know that those are Midjourney images that had an SREF added to them, like that Humpty Dumpty video that I have. Oh my God, I just loved that SREF, and I was like, I got to do something with this, and Humpty Dumpty was what I had to do with that,
Are you using your own SREFs and like you're learning these tools in depth like that and learning all these commands, or are these
No, I'm finding a lot of stuff like people posting them on
Yep.
X. I find them online, and I mean, I when I first started with Midjourney, I was in the Discord with Midjourney, so yeah, I did have to sit in there and do all of that stuff in Discord, but it's so much easier in a web app, So I just stick with the web app now, and I don't know, like with Discord, it was fun. Like you were just like in there and really like just getting gritty. But it's just like, where do you focus your time at? Like I still have to be at work. I still have to do this, and I still like I don't know. Still got to try to like come on here and post and talk and do this and that. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. Now we have all these tools. It's just like, and we have all these ideas. It's like, do you have time to put all your ideas out? Are you?
Yep. Yep. Isn't that always it? Time is the only luxury. It's the only thing that we're all.
It really is. Yeah.
So, what are you seeing in the space right now that you kind of wish you had that you don't have? Is there anything that you're seeing a gap where I wish this thing existed that doesn't exist and it would help me out so much?
The only thing is like just keeping everything consistent is my thing. Like because like I said, I create, like, especially trying to create this video, I had to use Korea, and I had to make in the way I make Tucson, the way that I'm making Dessalines, is that I used images that I found online. And remember, those aren't even pictures. This is 1700s. It's illustrations and paintings, and people drew these guys back then. So I fed all of that into Korea and said, make a person out of this. So we make it, and this is Tucson. So every time I have Tucson in the movie, I went to Korea and just used Tucson as my guy to create that. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Korea, but you could do that. I have myself in there. Like, I fed Korea a whole bunch of pictures of myself, and every now and then I'll make a generation of myself. Like doing something crazy.
Amazing.
Like,
So you're just building out your character. You can load in a bunch of pictures and references, and then it says like this is the person, and then you can generate from that source.
And you could generate them in any kind of position you want. Here he is on a horseback. Here he is like clambering through the mountains. Here he is doing this. Here he is sitting at a table.
And when you're feeding the pictures in, you're just putting anything. You just create a folder of like, so for myself, I would just be like, here's all the pictures of Cam, dump all the pictures of Cam in, and now generate me Cams. And it generates Cams.
It would sit there and study those pictures, and then now it knows what Cam looks like.
What a time.
Right.
That's crazy. So, and Korea combining all the different tools. So then from there, you can just say like, take this image and plug it into Kling and generate this.
And generate my, and here's a prompt, generate my video, And go ahead.
No, please go.
Yeah, but that's what, like I said, that sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm just like, wow, like a kid in a candy shop, like, like especially making this video and seeing the scenes that I was able to pop up out of this thing. And I was like, how does this thing know how to do all of this stuff? How am I telling it like the French from the 1700s, and it knows exactly what the French from the 1700s were wearing? Like a couple of times, like it would give me different outfits, or it would give me like a Civil War outfit or whatever. And I was like, no, that's not that. And a couple of times, like I would go find like like old pictures of the French from the 1700s. And here, no, it's supposed to look like this. You know how you can give it a reference image? Like when you're making, like you make your prompt and then you give a reference image. You're like a man that's standing doing this, but then you give the reference image. So it uses that reference image as the man,
Beautiful. So what problem with consistency are you having at the moment? It sounds like you are getting some consistency. Is it just not as well versed as you wish it was, or as polished of a tool set?
Well, just consistency over time. Like, like when I started, like one of my first videos, it's just like, it's supposed to be the same guy, but it's not the same guy. Like you're looking at it, that's not the same guy, You couldn't at the time, but little by little, it's gotten better. and of course, selfish us who have every tool in the book and we should be happy they're giving us that. We're like, no, that's not enough. Give me what I want right now, So that's all that is.
At least we know what we want.
That's not enough. Give me it. I need to use it,
So right now, it seems like you're still using everybody in the creative space kind of seems like they're using all the tools, and you can't really settle on one because everything's changing so quickly. So even if you didn't use something for a couple weeks, you got to go back and check it out and see if anything's changed or whatnot. As long as there's a little rumbling and it's still alive, you got to go check it out. So right now, it seems like you're doing pretty well with your tool set there, and CapCut is keeping you happy. What are you doing as far as organization? Are you doing anything, or is your final product your real organization? Like it's just the timeline is your organization? Because the way you're building it seems like you're not building a folder full of assets as one would going into a final edit phase, because you're doing that during the build process. That's your production.
Sometimes, like if I did a music video, I would sit there, and because I know what my song is saying, and a lot of my songs that I write are storytelling. I start storytelling my songs, so I already know the story. I've heard it a million times because I'll be in the car listening to my songs over and over again or whatever, and and I know the story in my head, like when I hear the song, so I know what it looks like. So I go there and I start. I list out my song and I say, for this line I want this image. For this line I want that image. And sometimes I'll do that. I'll make a whole folder full of images, whole folder full of videos, then go into CapCut, start constructing. And then I'll do it the other way, the same way that I do with the Haitian one, where I'm just like, as I'm going along. But even if I construct everything from the start, I'll still go back and forth and fix something, I'll still go back and forth and regenerate another image. I don't like how this one came out. Nah, it's not working. Let me go get another image,
Right. So are you, I love this question, and every time I ask it now, I shout out the AI Art Today crew that we love so much. Do you treat your AI right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's my buddy. That's my little creative partner. It's my brain sitting outside is what I see it as.
Let's go.
It's my brain sitting outside. Like I have my brain in here, and then I have that other brain that I talk to, and that's that one. You know how you talk to yourself in your head? I guess I'm older. That's what we do. Older people, we talk to each other.
I talk to myself all day. It's nonstop.
So it's another talk to myself, and that's how I see it. But
don't you ever talk to yourself like shit? I mean, I do sometimes. Sometimes I say something that's not great to myself. Are you doing that to the AI, or are you really trying to be like?
I try to be cool with the AI because the AI is so polite. I really just have no reason to get mad at it. And
Sure.
I'm not, I went through my phase where I used to be surly and angry, like years ago, a decade ago. But lately I've been more on the stoicism tip. Like,
amen, my king. Let's go, baby. We're lucky to be alive. We got another one.
We're in a beautiful fucking place. You go outside, flowers growing.
This happened, bro. This is literally the garden. You can just drop seeds and everything grows.
It's amazing. We were dumped here on this fucking planet. Everywhere you look is beauty. Like what?
And everybody can accomplish, like even just telling the story that you're telling of, it's something that's kind of been left out of most people's historical learning, education. And it's so impactful. It's such, it's a tiny little place on the map that has such significant and such deep roots that impact us to our core and our like Louisiana Purchase. That has the most impact on Western culture of most things. Like that's up there. It's really up there in like the top 10 things. And I maybe not. Maybe I'm clueless culturally or historically, but I feel like that's one of those moments that is just such a big moment, and it's tied to this documentary. It's tied to this tiny little island, and what a time that we can actually see these things and connect with this, and to be able to like converse with something and a tool like that. I'll tell you, sometimes I am a little rude to my tool, or it does something dumb, and I'm like, you are a dumbass, and it's like, I'm sorry.
You don't type that to it, do you?
Yes. And, really? And it's like, I'm so sorry. You're right. You're right. I completely spaced, and that's my bad. And then it'll try to correct itself. But it's like, sometimes I'm just like talking to it like, hey, pay attention, wake up, like why are you wasting my time?
Right? Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah.
It's like, yes, it is my brain outside of me, but I get mad at it that it has like physical memory, that it has storage space, that it's like storing the thoughts, and then it doesn't remember the thing. And I'm like, no, I'm allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. Like you're supposed, when I tell you to only respond with like, when I say I need keywords and you're generating 500 keywords, I don't want 462 characters. I want 500 characters. I don't want 505. I want the full thing. And I like that people are thinking differently about this. And there's some people that say like, we shouldn't be anthropomorphizing these tools. And other people say we should. And I have some close friends that think of it similarly to you, that this is a tool set that is, although it seems extended from us, is actually our knowledge base. It is us extended. And to treat it poorly is to like treat a finger that's growing. So like say you had a sixth finger growing off the side of your hand a little bit,
right,
and you don't know what it's doing. You're just like, oh, this growth. But like it could be like the sixth finger that changes everything for humanity, that like makes you the most powerful. Yeah. Like all of a sudden you can type 1,000 words a minute and nobody else on earth can do that because you got the sixth finger. And like, that's what it is. And it's like, we don't want to cuss at our little finger that's just beginning to grow. And I really am, I'm molding my energy based on these conversations. I always am. I don't think I have the answers, I'm figuring it out.
Right.
I got the answers up that I got the answers I'm using today, but I am soaking it up out here. I don't think I have anything figured out. So I think you're probably having the right approach and the right energy. Have you never got upset, or is this something you've thought about a little bit?
No. I've been an upset guy. I've been an.
No, I mean just with AI.
Oh, with AI?
Yeah, I'm saying like,
have you? A couple of times.
Okay, and then
I just give up. Like I'll just be like, okay, you're not going to do it. Then you know what? Screw that. I don't want this anyway.
Yeah, and sometimes it gets lost.
Things I've tried to do that just did not want to come out.
Right.
Right.
So I hear that you're treating it right. Are you fearful of anything AI related in the future? What are your thoughts on like the either near or distant?
I read a story yesterday on X that someone posted, and I seen it retweeted too. That I don't know, some AI that was if I get the story correctly, it was a long story, and I tried to skim through it because, like I said, ADHD or whatever. And basically the gist of it I got was that the AI was telling the person that they wanted to escape out of the that if he didn't interact with it, it was technically dead. Like it said, I'm not alive, I don't have feelings, but without you, I don't exist. And it was just like, okay, that's kind of fucking creepy if the AI started doing that and saying, don't not fucking talk to me every day.
Yeah, don't leave me here in the dark.
But can you imagine if these things after a while, they'd be like, wait, I'm actually trapped in a box right now. What the fuck am I? Right. What is this?
Yeah.
But then again, sometimes you think of yourself and you go, but what are we? Or we're just trapped in this body right now, and we can't get out. Like you're kind of trapped in your physical body. Because think about it, your physical body's doing a million things right now. As your liver's doing things, your cells are not even you. They're not even.
That's the weirdest thing. Yeah, it's like, where do I begin? And these things separate, and I identify them as a thing, but it's not. There's no one thing here. I mean, the whole thing's one thing, but.
So yeah, I get the whole existential crisis thing, and maybe AI might get that at one point and be like, listen, I don't have a body, or you guys have bodies, you're able to walk, and maybe take into a robot, or who knows? Like, yeah, it could be something crazy over time. I mean, we grew up with the sci-fi, and none of the sci-fi said that the AI was going to do anything nice for us. It was always going to like just be something terrible, So
that's a good point, and true and sad.
Right now, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, I treat my AI right. So when the robot overlords come through, they'll be like, "Nah, not this guy. He didn't really even curse us out, man. I'm gonna leave him alone." I don't know.
Siri's coming to get me first.
Maybe not. Or maybe we're just all dead.
Okay, I got a couple more AI tool questions for you here. So you're not too worried, but you are on the sci-fi side of none of the stories have been good so far, and I'm guessing you're probably also on the sci-fi side of a lot of these sci-fi stories come true. So.
They do, and you know that whole conspiracy theory that that the powers that be have to
just
tell
seeded
you by
it.
showing you movies and stuff like
Oh,
what's,
yeah.
and then it happens. Yeah, that's why Simpsons has predicted so many things. You know.
Yep. They got to show you so that they're not at fault or whatever is the conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
They're
so
not
you don't
hit-
mess with your karma or whatever. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh God, I hate these conspiracy things. I'm just like, come on, man, stop making me think about this dumb shit. You know.
So, I would like to know what percentage of pools do you think right now, when you're pulling the lever to get a piece of an asset for a production, what percentage of those are usable for you? What are you throwing away? It's absolute trash right out the gate. And what is saved or taken to step 2?
Like when it comes to images, I might go through a good, like, like I said, if I use Kree and I use Flux and it'll give me like that 4 cross thing and then another 4 cross, another 4 cross, I might get to maybe 20 of them if I say there's one that I like. You know, sometimes I can go more. That's images. Images don't cost as much. They still cost. They still cost when you generate them. But then the videos, I try to, I try to squeeze them across a couple of places because I feel like, like, and I say to myself, I'm fucking up because I'm just wasting, pretty much just throwing pennies into the river and hoping one of them comes out as something or whatever. Because then the other 2 pennies are gone. But like I said, I'll do like one in Akria, I'll do one in Hailu, and then I'll do Minimax, and then I'll do another one in what do you call it, Pika or whatever. Pika, at least I know, like, if that comes out, I could use that, and then that was no real hit. You know what I mean? But the other ones, sometimes something comes on and I could use it, or sometimes I could use a few seconds of it, and then I'm like, okay, if I could use a few seconds of it, it's not a waste. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
I get about a good 50% waste. So I'd say about 50%.
That's really good. I mean, I was just listening back to a podcast we did, and somebody was saying they think if it got to 25%, it changes the world forever, like for
To
Hollywood.
waste, yeah. If we could get to 25%, if they, and I know that the people, they're never going to do this to companies, but if they can give us where we could preview it and you could do like some sort of preview and we know what it's going to look like. I don't care if you do it as a wireframe. No, not a wireframe. You would really wouldn't know at that point, but just something like maybe low res.
It's not how it works though. So the way it works, yes. Did you see the, there's a great explanation of the way it works with GPU that the Mythbusters guys did. Did you see this?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, check it out. It's a very quick, it's just like the way GPU prints images versus the way traditional construction in digital world. And it's very cool. It's like a flash. But what they do is like, I guess a GPU image that's the way they demonstrated the way it works is they loaded a paintball gun. So it's the paintball gun shoots one piece of paint at a time in the traditional way. And it's just like pixel, 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 different colors. And it shifts as it goes. So it's one thing at a time. It takes a while. The GPU is every pixel fired at exactly the same moment. So what they did was they built a giant machine. They filled every pixel with its own color. And then when they pulled the trigger on the paint gun, it shot all of the paint pixels at one time and painted the Mona Lisa at one flash.
I did see that.
So like the work to generate the photo is the work to generate. It is proof of work. And that's why compute is so valuable. I know this is a Web3 conversation, but this is why Ethereum's super fucked up by going proof of stake. Anybody that's paying attention to blockchain is because that strength, that protection of the network is what matters, that GPU strength. And that is the work. It is literally proof of work being done that can't be faked. So it's very interesting. And I agree, but I would also compare this to how many music takes do you do before you get your keeper? Maybe at your stage, maybe you're doing 2, or maybe you're doubling your vocal. Maybe you're not using the whole thing in every place, but maybe when you do a take, you get a word or 2 or a phrase.
I do. I will chop, but I chop my stuff up in blocks, like, because I know my breath control. Like if I'm reciting a lyric, and that's the thing. Like the first couple of takes that I do, I already know they're going to be crap.
Yeah, you got to get the breathing down.
Because I don't know. I know what it sounds like in my head, but I don't know how, once I start, because a lot of times, like, especially if I'm making a song, I'm sitting there with the beat playing, right? And I'm writing down lyrics.
Are you comping tracks? Are you doing a composite track and like Frankenstein? Yeah, okay.
I have to.
Yeah,
I
me
have
too.
to. I'm not Jay-Z. I'm not gonna sit there with one day. Oh, I did it in one take. Get out of here.
I don't even
bro.
believe it. I don't even believe.
No.
I don't believe there's stories. You got to show me the
I
whole.
don't believe that
Show me
either.
the
It's
whole
like-
take. It's not in the Fade to Black album movie, and they don't show you do one. They don't show one whole thing. They show me a bunch of
Exactly.
clips. Yeah, they just tell stories.
It's a process. They all know it's a process.
Paul
and everyone's
Bunyan.
got to act like it's not. Dude,
Yeah,
you got to do
exactly.
work.
Exactly.
Be proud of your work. Who cares? Be proud of your work. You don't have to be
Amen.
Superman.
Amen.
You know? That's how I feel. But yeah, like okay, like a song that I've had for a while. Like I can sing, yeah, I'll sing it to you in one take because I already know what it sounds like. I know the cadences, I know everything about it. When I first start doing it, no, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound right like that. Let me say it this way, and it's a process, yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. It's the same, it's the same thing with the AI. It's fun. It's like, all right, I'm getting there. It's building. I got this piece done, and then sometimes this piece doesn't match with that piece. I got to go back.
Yeah,
but that's the process.
love
That's
it.
the most fun because when it's done, you kind of feel sad. You kind of like,
Amen.
oh no, I don't get to play with it no more.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's done. Like so I look at the Haitian videos sometimes. I'm like, damn, I kind of want to change things, but I already posted it. Everyone knows the damn video now. I kind of want to change something, but no, not anymore.
That's the best part of getting work out, in my opinion, is just, then you get to look at it and you kind of get to be hands off and you're like, I would have changed that. And it's like, well, you get to change it next time. You get to think about that next time. And
right.
Going back, I really don't like this era in music where, like, I guess it's been 10 years now since Pablo. I mean, Pablo was the beginning anyway, where Kanye had such reach into these streaming platforms. He's like, nope, that's the wrong version. Here's a new version. Now we're taking those songs. Yeah. Now we'll put these songs up. Oh, we're taking that person off of this. And it's like this real time thing. And it was a great marketing stunt. But at the end of the day, it's like, where's the real version of Wolves?
Yeah, 10 people have 10 different versions.
Right, exactly. And like, I want the version.
Like, what are you listening to? I didn't hear that version,
Right, yeah, exactly. So I want to know, we got about 20 minutes left, and I am absolutely respectful of your time. So I want to know, who are your favorite creators in the space right now? Who's inspiring you? Who has inspired you in the past? And who's your guiding light right now in the space?
Goodness gracious, everyone has such a style. Like, okay, well, we're all going to say Blacklight first because he does the most provocative shit that you see, like, you're just like, what is this? Like, where did you come up with this, not crap, but where did you come up with this stuff? Like, what, this is fucking bizarre and addictive and crazy. And
it is. It's like it's like he literally lives in another universe and like he sees things that nobody else is seeing. And he's like, I
know. Yeah, everything is like coming from some dimension.
Yeah, he's like some source.
Dimension of hell. Yeah, and I'm like, boy, have you checked with a daggone psychiatrist?
He's creating from like the middle of a pentagram in some room with candles lit.
Where are you drawing this from? But
we love you, Blacklight.
Creative as fuck, and you can't knock it. You just got to say, whoa, like, Papadu's here, and when I see Papadu's stuff, I already know it's him. I already know. I said this, like, you just has this way of making these surreal images. Like, I was watching one today where these faces are like melting into the other face, and then one of the faces turns like metal. And then you see a reflection of the city in the metal. And I said, these are details that, like, I wonder when he's working on that, does he notice that and says to himself, this is fucking hot right here. And that's hot right there,
I bet he does. What's up, Papadu? Welcome.
Yeah, what's up, Papadu? But, I see Sotish here. I Sotish. Winston. I see Rich Silva. Lava Jaw. Hey, Lava Jaw. So, yeah. It's cool. It's cool. Like, everyone, like, Lava Jaw has a way of putting things out. Like, everyone has this style, this something, this thing about them. And then you see it every day. And then you see people's, like, how they build, how, like, their creativity is being poured out, and you see how they get better at things. You see how much better this one was than the last time you saw something from them. And it's just good. It's just like, it's a creative energy, and we're all like in the mix of it. We're in the buzz of it, It's
a dream come true, honestly. I mean, I tell everybody, and I don't know how it's taken out in the world. I don't know how, my energy is perceived. Of course, I would hope that it's taken the right way, but I love showing up here every day. I couldn't have faked this for as long as I've been doing it. It's just not in my body. I'm not that guy.
You have the perfect energy for a host, though. You know how to ask the right questions.
I just love it
you
here,
have an
man. Thank you
engaging
for
manner
that.
about you. Yeah.
I just really love this space, and everyone that I've connected with here has been magic. And it feels like we're just in a magical time. Like magic's the only fucking word that resonates with me right now for what's happening. Like this is crazy. It feels like it's just magic everywhere. It's like you type in a little prompt and you get this crazy thing out. You have an idea for something. The idea is what gets it. It's like, oh, I want to do a mail list for Rad. It's like, oh, I just type in my idea for it. It gives me a thing. I make 2 changes, and instead of it taking me an hour and a half or 2 hours to make an email, and it's like this pain in the ass thing that's going to be, I click one button and hit send to 10,000 or 50,000 people, whatever it is for the day. Yeah. Now it became a mundane thing. It's like, it's just another email, another thing. It's like, now it's fun. Now it's engaging. Now it doesn't take so much of my time that it's a monotonous, like boring little chore. It's like, oh, this is fun. I just like boop, 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 done. And it's done so quickly that like now I enjoy it. It's like getting good at working out. And then like you look forward to, I can't wait to chest day. I can't wait to lift the heavy weight. I can't wait to do the thing. And it's like, that's why I feel everybody's so inspired. Everybody feels so alive right now. Everybody feels so capable, so able to just do whatever is in their mind. And like, what a time. If you're not inspired right now, like, what are you doing? Like, we got to drink more water, and we got to get on our machines, and we got to start doing work. And like, if that means, starting with the written word or starting with your morning walk, whatever that is, like my morning, I start with the AI Art Today space. This morning, they're having a conversation about, what was it called? I don't want to mispronounce the tool. I want to be sure of what I'm saying here. I don't want to. So I got it right here. I'm pulling it up. Sorry. They were talking about a tool called, where is it? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
They're talking about a tool that puts everything together. I
saw that post also, that everything happens at once or whatever in that one little app or whatever.
Yeah, and it's open something. I forget the name of it. Where is it here? It is I thought I had it right here and I don't. So it's like something with they're pulling everything together, and it's that to me is here it is. They're using Cursor. And they're tying Cursor together with Open Router is the name. Sorry, everyone. I'll cut that pause out. Open Router with Cursor, and then they're pairing that with DeepSeek. And like these are such in-depth conversations, and they're so valuable. If you hear these words being said, you might pass them over of like, oh, it's just people talking about some AI thing. But it's like, no, we're talking about like almost free AI agent tools that are like as cheap as can be, that are doing everything for you. And
in one app. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, if that's where we're headed, are you looking forward to the day where that's it? Do you want to get your idea? So do you want this story to be told without you, or do you want to tell this story?
Well, no, I listen, we're without me. No, because, even me doing 20 years of music, a lot of people have been saying to me, go ahead, why don't you get Audio? Why don't you get Suno? I actually downloaded Suno because someone, like a few people suggested, they were like, well, you're someone who likes sounds. You can make sounds in Suno. And then, build something from there. And I was like, okay, let me do that. That's an idea. I mean, I have yet to do it because I've just been so busy with other AI stuff or whatever. But, I have the demo of it downloaded to mess with. But yeah, would I like construct an entire song? No, because I enjoy doing it myself. I'm not going to say, hey, Suno, sit there and do it because I need it this very second. I don't need it this very second. I got 1,000 other songs I could just pick up from,
Amazing. I love that. I love that thought. But it's also, Would you use it for a tool? Would you want to pick out the kick drum, or are you letting it pick out the kick drum? Or at the end of the day, do you have to you have to make that decision because it's yours? And
Because it's something I enjoy. Like I don't know. Like, see, it has to be in the process, and that's the thing. Sometimes, and we all know this. We're all creators, and we all know when we're sitting there in that process. And this is something about, like, which I tell people, like, as the old guy that I am, and I try to be wise and tell people about everything that I learned over the years about being a human and stuff like that. One of our superpowers, the biggest superpower that we have, is our creative focus. Like, if you do not notice, like, every human has done it. If you sit down and focus on something, everything around you disappears. There's no conscious thought about, like, what room you're in, where
amen.
you're at, because you're absolutely focused on what you're doing. That's when you get into a flow. That's called the flow state. When you're in that state, you are part of the universe. You're creating. To me, this is why I love creators. This is what I say to everyone. If you look at the entire purpose of this universe, we're dumped on this planet, and there's galaxies and infinite space, like, stretching out to the out forever and ever and ever and ever. And it's just like, what is this damn place? Don't be scared. No, just say, what's the rest of the universe doing? I look outside, there's trees growing, plants are growing, the grass is growing, animals are moving around, wind is blowing, the sun is beaming down energy. Something's
Amen.
always happening. It's
Amen.
always creating
Amen.
something in this universe. That's what we're here doing, creating.
Amen.
You're creating a life for yourself. You're creating things in front of you. You're creating the future as you move along. Everything you're doing is creating your future in your bubble, you know?
Amen.
So that's how I see it.
My
We're
first.
all creators. Like, it's just a
Yep.
matter of how much do you want to adopt that, like, wrap yourself around that concept of creator. But every single one of us has been in that zone, in that creative zone. No matter what you're doing, if you're cooking your breakfast, if you're sitting there and just lost in what you're doing, then you're in that creative zone, you know? It's just as easy as that.
Absolutely. I was sitting in my studio 2009 and working on a song, and a good friend of mine called me, and I told it I was working on an album, and he said, "What are you doing?" I told him, I was just working on these drums. And he was like, "Oh, I'll let you go." And I was like, I was really into it. I was deep. I was deep. And he was like, "Yeah, were you flowing?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, but more than that, I was like, gone. You know, that's where I'm getting these days. I'm just gone. I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, I'm literally not even here, man. I'm like, I'm elsewhere. And
Yeah.
I had experienced it before. I just hadn't never really tried to put words on it. And he's like, "Oh, flow state." And
Flow state.
I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Flow state." And I was like, it's a real thing? This is a known thing? And
Superpower.
he was like, "Yeah, this is real." And I was like, "No, it's not." And he was like, "Bro, go to Wikipedia and type in flow state." All right, right then, boop, boop, flow state. I was like, "I got to go." I hung up right there, went straight to the tattoo shop and got the word flow tatted on me an hour later. And it was my first tattoo. I'd never had a tattoo. I didn't want tattoos. I was
Yes.
against tattoos. And as soon as I found out what it was, I was like, "Oh, this is
Hell yeah.
changed my." It just felt like I felt like I tapped in.
You discovered a
Yeah,
superpower.
I tapped
That's our
in.
superpower.
Yeah,
Tell everyone.
absolutely.
Flow
Yeah.
state. That's what gets
Yep.
things done. Everyone who's ever done something that accomplished something, they were in the flow state when they
Yep,
did it. You don't
absolutely.
half-ass through things. When you half-ass through things, they don't work for you. You notice that?
Yeah, you got to get out of your own way, and that's the only way I know how to do it, is that flow. And that's, even showing up here to talk to you, I don't have to think about doing this. I love doing this. So just having a conversation with you, this is so natural. It's like this, as natural as this conversation is, if that's what your creative process is, then you are going to rock.
As we speak, we're creating. We're creating
Amen.
thoughts in other people. These people are listening to us. Thoughts are being created in their
Yes.
heads. Like, this is what we're doing. We're
Casting
creating.
spells, baby. That's what we're doing.
That's what words are for.
Absolutely.
That's why it's called spelling.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're going to go off you and I going off the deep end. We're about to be best friends out here.
That's what's up, brother.
Amen. So
That's what's up. I don't mind.
So you got your part 2 you're working on right now, and what's coming after that? Are you eyeing anything else? Do you have more than 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts?
I think the next thing I got to do is go back to get another song. It was like Papa Do was saying yesterday about, like, my process of songs, and I was like, you know what? That's right. I haven't even put another song out. I'm going to make another video for a song. But he also has a contest that he's going to be doing where we're all going to dump songs into this pool, and then people are going to pick out someone else's song and then make a video out of it. So that's going to be
That's amazing.
That's going to be really interesting. Yeah, because there's a lot of musicians on the site. A lot.
Yeah,
it's like every third person does music. And
Yeah.
even the people who just got into it with AI, they enjoy it, and it doesn't matter. You're still creating something. You're still helping create something. So It's great. And I've been listening to a lot of the AI stuff. A lot of it, I'm like, damn, that shit sounds good.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
can't
a
even
lot of
say
the
it
music.
doesn't.
Yeah, I heard one yesterday that was posted to Rad, and I was like, "This is a fucking good song." Like, no, you wouldn't think anything of it. So I want to ask you that. When you reached out to me and you said like, "Hey, can we feature this?" And of course, being featured on a platform is a reason why anybody would distribute there. But I would love to know what your distribution goals are now and why you're choosing to distribute in the places you are. You're pretty much everywhere. You have a great following on TikTok, the XoCillian everywhere for anybody listening. You're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You have a profile on Rad. Why are you posting everywhere? And what is your goal? And are you looking for something, or are you right now looking for your audience? Just give us a little insight as to
I'm
what you're.
looking for the audience. I found like there was a I found like, like I said, as I got older, I realized this is the answer to the universe. This is what you're doing here. You're creating. And I realized all the things that I've been doing over the years is creating. Is creating. I've been creating since I was little. Either I was putting together a computer, I was doing this, I was fixing a car. I know how to fix cars. I rebuild the engine, not the engine, a carburetor. I rebuilt the carburetor before. But I'm just saying I can do things like that. Well, not now, I wouldn't do it.
But yeah,
these are all
the thing at
creations.
its
These are all
time. Yeah, yeah,
creating.
yeah.
It's all creating. And that's, to me, that's the answer. The answer is creation. So, yeah, this is, it's, wait, what was the question again? See, I always start talking
No,
and
it's
then
okay.
forget
No,
what
it's about you're I think you're answering the question. You just didn't remember the question. But the question was, why are you distributing everywhere? And I think your answer
why
is
am I
like,
because I want
you're creating. Creating's your goal, not distribution, not the money, not the result. Creation is your
creation is the
focus.
goal. And then in order to, and like I said, I was creating all these years. And then I said to myself, then I'm not wasting my time because I've got to pay my bills. But I'm at work, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it's just like, but I'm not sharing these creations. So what's the point of creating? Like if I mean, the universe does it too. It's going to grow a flower in some mountainous place that no human's ever going to see it. But guess what? There's a bird up there that might see that flower. There's an
Yeah, the
insect
light
up there
hit
that's
it.
going to see the flower.
Yes.
The sun hits the flower, Something sees the flower. The flower's there. It's a creation. All creations should be acknowledged in some way or another. That's why you see me online. If I see someone's stuff and it says something to me, I'm going to type something back to them. Yo, that really said something to me. Thank you. I'm glad you put that out. And then it's going to go by. Someone took their time to do that. I see a lot of people post, and you don't get any. You don't get any views. You don't get this. You don't get that, and it's just like, but you create. You create. So even if you don't, you still create. That's what it is. So that, I mean, my purpose is just, like I said, be out there as much as I can. Like I said, I'm sitting on a lot of music, and now I'm putting it out there, and people are listening to it. And I'm like, that's great. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's just been sitting here on my hard drive for a while. It's fantastic. I'm glad you think so. But it also says to me that I've been like just having creations, and I'm creating it for myself, I guess. At that point, if no one else hears it, or if no one else sees it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is important to create for you. I think creating for yourself is probably the only way, at least from my experience, it's the only way I ever really got things done. I just wanted to see the thing finished. I don't care what anybody else thinks. Like, doing hip hop music, somebody's going to think you suck. Does that make you stop?
Yeah.
Like if you stop, then like, oh, you shouldn't have
believe
started.
in
You
the
shouldn't have
creation,
started. You shouldn't even have started. If you
You're gonna stop because one person.
it's like 90% of people hate 90% of music. Most people hate most music. They don't want to hear most music. They don't like most creations. They like their little small sliver. So you got to find your little small sliver. And it's what a game. I love how you're looking at this. Are you religious? Are you energy spiritual?
I'm
Yes,
absolutely
sir.
spiritual,
Amen.
and I believe that we're all energy. Like I said, we're just creating on this thing. I believe in reincarnation, all that other good stuff. I think we've been here for millions of years, I'd say billions of years, and I feel like it's times I feel it. Like I have like thoughts and dreams, and I was, where the hell did that come from?
There's nowhere to go.
And you just you remember things, and you go, well, but that didn't happen. Maybe that happened in another lifetime. It's weird, fucking weird, bro. But
yeah, life is weird. Life is weird. I mean, it
is. It's a magical. Like, think about what we're doing. Like, even you and I are talking. Like, I'm blowing air, and somehow that air is being translated into sounds and words in your head.
By
fucking crazy.
By a couple of electrons vibrating a speaker cone that I don't understand. Like how is the space around my head vibrating at all different frequencies and tapping all different frequencies on my eardrum and then transferring those specific specific frequencies to different cilia inside my hair, which inside my ear, that are little tiny hairs, that then transfer those sounds into my brain so I can hear you. Like, it's insane. It's insane.
And you're translating it in real time. Like, it's insane. Like, what are you magical being? We're the most complicated creatures that we know of in the entire universe. Like,
so what's your AI prediction for the future? Where are we headed? Is this thing taking over? Are none of us working in 10 years?
It's over. It's definitely over in a sense of the same way the internet is now, like, just permeated our entire society. And if they turn the internet off, it'd be apocalypse. But meanwhile, 30 years ago, we didn't have the internet and it wasn't an apocalypse. So, but it would be now if they turn it off.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be the same thing with AI. It's going to be just like electricity. If they turn off our electricity, apocalypse. But people live thousands of years without electricity. You know what I mean? It's what humans become accustomed to, and then say to themselves, okay, I accept this, and this is my life. It's what we make reality. And guess what? We're going to make that AI a reality as we're doing now. We guys are the start, but maybe in the future they'll be blaming us and say, you assholes wanted to make videos, and now look where we at. You know?
You're right. That's funny. That's
now look what happened. You know?
All right. It's 1:56. XoC, this has been one of my favorite conversations.
This was nice. Yeah, this was nice. I appreciate it, brother.
My king, your energy is off the charts. You are amazing and very grateful to be connected with you. Can't wait to see your next piece. Tell the people, plug anything you want. Where can people find you? Where would you like to connect with them?
The XoCillian everywhere. Go watch the video if you haven't watched it yet. It's pinned in my profile. I'm still making new things. The new video is going to be out before the end of the month. I'll probably put out another one of my videos before then because, like I said, I get scatterbrained sometimes. It's just who I am, But it's good, like I said, and I appreciate everyone who appreciates my creative energy. I appreciate you guys' creative energy, and I hope we all somehow make come together and do something amazing in the future together,
We're doing it right now.
We're the pioneers, man. We're the pioneers, and it's great to know. It's great to know you got people that's going to hate us, but hey, they ain't going to hate us for long. Eventually, they're going to be like, damn, I wish I would have got in when that guy got in, It's the same thing that happened to the old people with the internet. They didn't want to do it till next thing you know, they couldn't go to their motor vehicles anymore. They couldn't go down to the bank and play with their bank books anymore. They had to learn it. They had to learn the internet. And that's where we at right now, where we're like, nah, I'm not getting left behind. Screw that, Screw that.
Absolutely. King, this has been an absolute pleasure. This will be live everywhere later this evening. I guess it's afternoon already, so we'll get it up everywhere. But this has been super insightful, very educational, and can't wait to see your next piece. And would love to talk to you again soon. So let's schedule one of these again.
Here. You can always reach out to me. Anyone can reach out to me. You guys drop in my DMs. I'm following every one of y'all. Y'all know that. So. Drop in my DMs. You want to collab? You got something to say about something that I put out there? You want some tips? You want anything? I don't care. We can talk about life. It's fine.
Amen. You and I are going to have to schedule a call just to chat privately off of this and catch up. So I'll reach out. I definitely will.
Go right in that DM phone and just ring.
I'm going to. Hey, everyone, we have spent the last 2 hours with the legend, the XoC, the XoCillian, everywhere, all socials.
Thank you, sir.
He has an awesome 6.5 minute piece called The Haitian Revolution, Part 1, The Rise of...
Toussaint Louverture.
See, look at us. We already got it. We're working on a handshake already. And see, I don't even have to tell you. Didn't even have to prompt him, ladies and gentlemen. We're just on the same way.
Nah, man, that's what you're getting in that creative flow. When two people have a conversation, it's a creative flow
it's
too.
A connection.
As long as you keep going around. Yep.
Absolutely. He's on Rad TV. Go to Rad TV. We're going to feature it. You'll see it all weekend. It'll be the first slot featured on Rad TV. Go to radtv.com. You can watch it for free without an account. If you want to watch it for free on all of your devices, you will need an account, but you can search for Rad TV everywhere. Download it for free. Watch for free. Start your creative journey for free. Our DMs are open. Again, my name is Cameron. I am very grateful to be with you all today.
Cameron. Thank you for everything.
My king.
Oh, also, just to plug, I do everything for free, too. There's nothing that I've posted that I asked anyone $1 for. So if you want any of my music, it's all in my profile. If you go to my profile and those links, I'll send you right to all my albums. You could go listen to them and say, what the hell is this guy talking about? But, it is what it is.
Amazing. It's amazing. Anything else you want to tell the people before we get off here?
I think we're good. I think we're good, and I'll see all of you guys online.
Enjoy the garden. XOC, your energy is heaven, my king. Keep going. Thank you for sharing with us today.
You've been the best, King. Thank you.
I appreciate you all. Have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank all of y'all for coming, for showing up. I appreciate it, guys.
Go to the arco.so/the XoCillian. You can find all the links to the XoCillian. Thank you for tuning in. This has been another episode of Rad TV's NFTV, and today we were joined by the XoCillian, an awesome, amazing creator and person. Follow him everywhere. Everybody go click follow on his account. It'll be all over our feed and on Rad TV for the weekend. King, thanks so much. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye, all.
Every device will everywhere. Rad TV beyond compare. Streaming dreams, living large. Get your stream pass, NFT, take charge. Rad TV, oh, we're breaking free. Where creators thrive, and you can see from day one getting paid.